Okay guys, I'm going to attempt to manipulate this pattern to look like design number 1. Let's see if this is as easy as I'm hoping it'll be. Just a reminder, we're basically going to draw a new style line on the front and back bodice, and we're going to combine those style lines to make a side panel. We're going to move this front dart so that it's somewhere else. And then we're going to leave some fullness, it looks like, in the style line around the side bust. We're cutting the top neck. The top neck is a crew neck. We're changing that to straight edge. I'm going to do the same on the back, even though it's not illustrated. I'm going to leave the back shoulder dart and back dart and take off the sleeve. Okie dokie. Well, I suppose I could start by taking off the sleeve. That sounds simple enough. Okay, cool. Okay, here I go. Wish me luck. Let's see here. What should I start with? Should I start by moving my dart? I think I just want to start with the style line first for the front. So, what I want to do, I think it'd be great to just, offset. So let's see here. So if I get my Z tool, I can select my pattern edge. If I hold shift, I should be able to select more than one. Okay, great. So I have those 3 lines selected, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to say offset as internal line. I'm thinking that's about a little bit less than 2 inches. So I'm going to say 1.75. This is where it's handy to have POM measurements, but we're just eyeballing this. This is kind of just for fun to see if we can change the pattern and learn how to operate CLO while we're at it. Okay, I'll say okay. Okay, that seems good enough. So why don't I go ahead and right click that internal line. So the internal line's selected, I right clicked it, and I'll say cut and sew. Just sew it back together. Okay, now I'm just gonna do that straight line across. It's about mid armhole. I could use this point, maybe that's a little low. Is that low? I don't know, I'm just gonna do it. I guess I can always make it higher later if I want. So I'm going to click that one point, I'm going to right click, and we are going to say add perpendicular internal line. So this always confuses me because it's the opposite of X or Y. So we want our actual line to be X, but because we're asking for perpendicular, we have to choose Y axis. Okay. So I'll say okay. And then I'm going to right click that. Maybe I can cut it. If it's not working for you, you might have to first say extend trim and add point to pattern outline. Let me just try to see if cutting will work. Ah, it worked this time. Cool. Okay. I switch over to the keyboard shortcut letter A, and I can just delete that guy. Oh, look, you can see it on her. Actually, that's kind of cute. I don't think that's too low at all. I think I'm happy with that. So that's good. Okay, so maybe before I do that, funky part of moving the dart, why don't I get the back up and running and my side panel up and running? So, okay, let's go over here to the back. I'm going to do the same thing where I select my armhole. I'm going to hit the letter Z. I'm going to hold shift. I'm going to right click, offset as internal line. Oh, it defaulted to 1.75 because that's what I used last. Great. I guess I will right click. We will cut and sew that guy. Nice. Okay, so now I'm going to select this side seam from the back, and I'm going to hold shift and select the side seam from the front. I'm going to right click, and we're going to merge those two together. So it copied the angle of the front. If you want to move your grain line, you can hit the letter A. You can take your pattern piece. You can play around with different grain lines. I kind of feel like the grain line should just be straight up and down. Maybe it's on the bias. Maybe it's somewhere else. I don't really know that. I think that opens up a wonderful conversation, but I think for me, I want my grain line just going straight up and down. So to control the grain line, there's this button up here that says edit texture. That's it. So you can see right now it's mimicking the grain line from the front. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this guy. You can click and drag it as well. You can also go in the property editor, and under grain line somewhere you can type in the actual angle that you want. It's there somewhere, trust me. I just don't have time to look for it. I don't really care that much today. Okay, great, that seems good. Okay, that piece is good. Now for the back as well, we need to cut the back so it goes straight across. Hit the letter Z. It looks like this one doesn't have an anchor point. It doesn't have to be the same length as the back. Sometimes maybe the back, they're the same like drop as the front neck. Maybe the back's a little bit higher. I don't think it matters. I think I'm just gonna eyeball right here because again, I don't have a POM sheet to reference. So I just kind of got to make this decision. So I'm gonna hit the letter X to add a point. There we go. Let it change to Z so I can select it. I'm gonna right click it and we're gonna say add perpendicular internal line. Okay, I want my line to be parallel to the X axis, so because it's perpendicular, I have to choose Y. I used to mess this up all the time and I would just choose the other one. I finally forced myself to learn it. Okay. Anyways, okay, so last time we just had to hit cut, so I'm gonna do that again. Again, sometimes if you run into trouble, you have to hit extend, trim, and add point to pattern outline. I just like to remind people of that because I've seen people get kind of stuck on that. I'll just say cut. I don't want to sew it because I'm going to hit the letter A. I'm going to select the pattern piece and I'm just going to delete it. Okay, well, why don't we hit spacebar and just see what this looks like simulated on our model. Do we like that? Is that too high? Should I make it lower? Whatever, you're the designer. You can choose, I guess, because we don't have much of a sketch of the back anyways. Okay, looks like we got some baselines happening. If we don't want to look at the baselines, let me go over here. Yeah, to the front. See, there's like, I don't know why. You just show that was like a perpendicular thing. I'm just going to right click and say unlock all baselines. I don't need them. And then I'm going to right click and just say delete all baselines. I could have also chosen there's like a view to look at baselines or not, but I was like, I'm just going to get rid of them. Okay. So now what? Now we need to move this dart over here to the armhole and we need to change it so that it's like gathers and not a dart. Cool, let's do it. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit the letter Z and I can select both dart legs. I'm holding shift to select them both. I'm gonna right click and we're gonna say rotate dart. It's like, hey, where do you want it? You know what? I kind of want it right here. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna actually just click this 3D side. I want it right there. So now I can see that little blue dot. I think that's, how far is that guy? I wonder. Because I want to kind of mimic it here. I want like a similar distance. So why don't I hit X? Okay, it looks like it's about 2.5 inches. So why don't I just put like a dot about 2.5 inches here? I'm gonna right click and just type in 2.5. Okay, that's where I want it because I was just kind of visually looking. I'm like, where is that? Okay, so now I'm gonna hit the letter Z. I can select both dart legs. I'm holding shift. 2 legs are selected, great. I can right click, I can say rotate dart, and then now I'm gonna click on the segment, I'm gonna click on my point I made. Now it's like, oh, where do you want the dart to go? Usually your dart point is like an inch below your actual bust point. So I'm actually gonna try to rotate it on the actual bust. So I'm kind of eyeballing about an inch. Okay, so then we're gonna I can pick whatever side I wanna rotate. I definitely wanna rotate the side panel, so I'm gonna click that guy, and then we can close it all the way. I don't need it. Now it's like, well, how long do you want your dart? Do you want your dart to come all the way to the bust point? Or do you want it, usually your dart point finishes about an inch away from your bust point, so it's not super pointy on the actual bust. So I know it's sad, I'm kind of eyeballing, but whatever. I'm just gonna click right there. Okay, I clicked and now I wait. Let's see. Okay, cool. What happens if I simulate right now? Should I? Why not? Okay. So really all that happened was that we moved the dart point. There it is. Is that in a good spot? Are the dart legs, is it too close to the bust? Should I make the dart legs shorter? I don't know. I'm going to carry on. Ooh, did it not do it to both sides? Let me just double check that. Uh-oh, it did not. I was hoping it was doing it to both sides. When did I get off with that? Oh, okay. I wanted to do to both sides. So now in retrospect, that's okay. I'm just going to delete this guy. I'm going to hit the letter Z. I'm going to click and drag these. Oh, you know what? I need an anchor point in the front. Okay. I'm going to add an anchor point in center front. I'm going to hit the letter X and I'm going to right click and I'll just say uniform split it into 2. Oopsies. Cancel. Okay, here we are. Show you again. Right click, uniform, 2 segments. Great. Okay, now I can hit the letter Z, and that's going to let me click and drag these anchor points, and I can just delete them. Then I can click this guy, right click, and unfold symmetric editing with sewing. I don't know why it wasn't on that in the first place. I don't know. Okay, let's see if that solves my problem. Do we have, yeah, it does have stitch lines. Okay, so I'll hit spacebar. Just see where we're at right now. Okay, are we good? Again, I had some kind of issues about the dart maybe being a little too long. I'm just gonna move forward and get over it. Okay, so now we want to add some gathering. Okay, so I think what I want to do is look at this. I'm gonna look at my stitches. I'm gonna open up my sewing machine. So right now it's sewing this purple line here. That's awesome. It's sewing the green here as well. Okay, but I want to scooch in more fabric. Okie dokie. So, yes, okay. Let's see here. What would happen if I just delete, these lines, that sewing line, because I'm not going to sew the dart together. And in fact, I'm going to get rid of that dart point. So I'm going to hit Z. I'm going to click that dart point. I'm going to say delete. Okay, so this guy's not being sewn to anything, right? Let's look at our stitching. Yeah, he's just a random hole. So I guess I need to move my stitching a little bit so that I can make room for this guy to get sewn to something. And gosh, it's tricky. Let's see here. What if it's almost like in the sketch, the stitching does go all the way down to the corner. Maybe I just take this one and just make it longer. Maybe that's a good idea. And then do I like this point? I don't think I do. I'm going to hit the letter Z. It's a little pointy. I'm going to right click and just say convert to curve. Now I can definitely play with the shape of this line, but I think for fun I just want to simulate first and see where we're at. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. So, I mean, I'm kind of happy. I can see the top is a little bit big. There was ease in this pattern. So if I want to make this top part a little smaller, I can hit the letter Z, click and like drag this. I'm just dragging it like 1/2 inch. I'm eyeballing it. And then hit spacebar. That might make it a little bit tighter along the front, so it doesn't like pop open. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm happy with it right now. I could definitely sit here and do more fit corrections and play with it. And maybe I play more with like the sewing tools even. Like I'm almost wondering if maybe this green one should be a little longer. Like is there too much shearing coming up too high? I don't know. But anyways, this is the gist of it. I just want to make sure you guys can at least get this far. If you want to play more for a more perfect fit, feel free. Go ahead. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how they turn out. This will be interesting, I think.